Hello friends, today I am going to talk about Hitler's secret. To watch more facts on various topics, do hit the like, share and subscribe buttons of our channel. During World War II, the German dictator Adolf Hitler was hatching a secret plan to develop a nuclear bomb that could have changed the outcome of the war. There were rumors that a plant in Norway was making heavy water for the Nazis. This form of water is used in the making of a nuclear bomb. On hearing these reports, Europe's allied forces decided to carry out a series of daring raids in Norway to sabotage the Nazi plan before a catastrophe could occur. Operation Grouse. In the first operation on October 19, 1942, 4 men parachuted from an aircraft in Norway and skied all night to the heavy water plant. They memorized a secret question to ensure they contacted the right people in the Norwegian resistance, a secret force fighting Nazi occupation of Norway. The question was, "What did you see in the morning?" The correct answer was 3 pink elephants. The Norwegian saboteurs were trained by a top secret British unit called Special Operations Executive or SOE. Let's see about this famous organization and the merciless regime of their training in Scotland. The SOE was known as the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. They were saboteurs dropping behind the enemy lines to hit the Nazis in the guerrilla attack on industrial plants and railway lines. The Norwegian branch of SOE, Company Lynch, recruited young Norwegians who had either taken a boat or flown to England to be trained. They recruited the best of the best. Then they put them through this intensive training regime. A lot of the training was done in Scotland. They would go on night training exercises in the mountains, fording rivers, crossing passes, and sleeping outside for weeks on end. On the mental level, they learned how to handle strain and stress. I don't think it's too dissimilar to Special Forces training today. Vemork is incredibly remote. How did the geography and conditions affect the sabotage attempt? Vemork is a natural fortress. It could only be reached by a single-lane suspension bridge and was surrounded by an area called the Hardangervidda, a high mountain plateau where, according to the legend, it grows so cold, so fast that it freezes flames in the fire. There were also minefields, searchlights, high barbed wire fences, and constant patrols. The saboteurs parachuted into the area in October to prepare for the mission and collect intelligence. They had to survive on their own in winter time, with temperatures in negative Fahrenheit on this barren mountain plateau, which is basically rock, snow and wind. They have very little food, so they have to hunt reindeers and there's no way to travel except on skis. Thankfully, they were Norwegians, so they were born with skis on their feet. After months of preparation, the team finally reached their objective. Put us on the ground on the night they blew up the plant. First, they have got to climb the bloody mountain, haven't they? The mission was to provide information on the weather and the German defense. They also were ordered to cut telephone lines and to mark the landing zone. This operation was given the code name Grouse. Using a battery acquired by Torstein Skinnerland, Einar's brother, and a self-constructed aerial, they finally managed to contact London by radio. The men began preparing for the operation. They selected a landing zone some 3.11 miles from the Mostvan Dam and about same distance from Vemork. They were to mark the area with lamps and a Eureka wireless transmitter which sent out a signal that would be picked up by the aeroplane. This would make the landing zone easier to find for the pilot. Life in the cabin was not easy. The temperature outside dropped far below zero. They also lived in the twilight continuously. The Jukan area, due to its northerly location and the fact that the place is surrounded by mountains, lies in the shadow from September to March. The men mainly ate soup made of dried fish. Operation Freshman. On November 19, 1942, Operation Freshman got underway. 15 men were meant to be dropped from gliders to meet up with the men from Operation Grouse. Bad weather caused the gliders to crash, and the survivors were caught by Gestapo, Nazi police. The Grouse men were luckier. They survived the winter by living in a cave and eating reindeer's moss. Quite early in the war, the Germans were known to be working towards the production of an atomic bomb. It was thought they had made considerable progress in the production of heavy water, an essential component. Attacks were planned in 1942 to delay production at a German research establishment at the Norsk Hydro plant at Vemork in Norway. This was situated in an isolated deep valley 60 miles west of Oslo and 80 miles from the coast. The heavy water plant was situated on a rock shelf 1,000 feet above a river, requiring a precipitous climb and was unsuitable terrain for parachuters or gliders. It was decided a glider-borne landing would be attempted on a landing zone 5 hours marching distance away. The riders would be guided by a Rebecca Eureka radio location device to the landing zone and then by the Norwegian guides to the objective. Once the objective was destroyed, the group had to extract across the mountains to Sweden. The operation required a force of 12 to 16 skilled engineers who had to be duplicated due to the hazardous nature of the task. The first aircraft reached its objective landing site, but ice formed on the tow rope which prematurely broke. The glider crashed onto the mountainside. 8 of the 17 men inside were killed and 9 captured, of whom 4 were injured. 5 were shot and the injured were poisoned by a German doctor on Gestapo orders. The Halifax tug got back. The second tug glider group crash landed near the Helleland. The aircraft crew were killed and 3 of the glider complemented also died. Survivors were shot within a few hours of the capture under the terms of the infamous Commando order issued by Hitler. Only 1 aircraft returned. The fate of the others was not known until after the war. Though Operation Freshman failed, largely due to the breakdown of the homing beacon, this first British glider operation demonstrated the range, versatility, and flexibility of determined airborne soldiers. Operation Gunnerside. 6 more men were dropped by parachute on February 28, 1943 to meet up with the Grouse 4. The group of 10 traveled through an icy ravine to the plant. Led by Joachim Reneberg, the group jumped from a plane under the cover of snowfall at around midnight on February 16, 1943. The commandos, all dressed in British uniforms underneath their snowshoes, they reasoned that if the British were blamed for the sabotage rather than the Norwegian resistance, the local population would be less likely to face German repercussions. While the group survived the landing and avoided initial German detection, they landed miles from the planned target site. After traveling for about 5 days, the Gunnerside group connected with Swallow group. Late in the evening on February 27, 1943, the Gunnerside group began the ride on the Vemork plant. There were 3 ways to access the plant. Come down from the mountains above the plant, which was an area covered in minefields, cross a heavily guarded single-lane suspension bridge, or travel to the bottom of the gorge, cross a half-frozen river, and climb a 500-foot high cliff. According to Rene Berg, the group voted to take the gorge, which led to the route alongside a railway line that a local contact said was relatively unguarded. In order to get through the plant's side gate fence, Nut Hochschild used a pair of heavy-duty metal cutters brought by Rene Berg. Fortuitously, Rene Berg had purchased the metal cutters in Cambridge, England, after going to a movie on his day off. He told the New York Times that the handsaw provided by the British military would have taken too much time, made too much noise, and alerted Nazi gods. Thanks to Tronstadt's planning and intelligence gathering, they knew every block, stairwell, and entry points. As a result, they were able to infiltrate the plant without an alarm, set the explosives, and blow it up. General Falkenhorst, head of German forces in Norway, called it a brilliant coup. Finally, they laid the explosives, blew up the plant, and then escaped. 4 stayed in Norway to help the resistance. The other 6 skied 250 miles, it's around 400 kilometers, to Sweden and get their freedom. Operation The Sinking. Following the explosion, the Nazis decided to take what was left of the plant to Germany, including the heavy water. On hearing about this, Norwegian resistance fighters drew up a secret plan to sink the Hydro, the ferry boat that was to carry the heavy water. On February 20, 1944, a bomb was smuggled on the boat. As Hydro crossed Lake Tennisjo in Norway, the bomb exploded and the boat sank, finally ending Germany's nuclear program. Operation Underwater Exploration. In 2005, a television company sent a crew down to the bottom of the Lake Tennisjo to explore the wreckage of the Hydro. Using robotic underwater cameras, they discovered one of the barrels, which was found to contain heavy water. The discovery provided proof that the Nazis were developing a nuclear program, though it seems they were only in the early stages of the building a bomb. Stay safe. See you in another exciting topic. Take care. Bye-bye.
Deep within, here we go, but somehow I'm caught in the middle.